Already today's challenge the auction: stealth, heavy bags, reinforced locks, and takedown limit. Now it's takedown limit, and that's kind of the main thing about all of this, but aside from that, there's reinforced locks, which is going to matter for one really short part, but aside from that, because it's not reinforced doors, it's not really going to do much more than that. But finally, there's heavy bags, which absolutely does not matter at all, except for the part where we have to move bodies, which hopefully won't be happening all that much because it is still in fact takedown limit, which subsequently means that, well, takedown limit probably won't matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, which I suppose is perfectly fine. So we're just gonna wait over here after lowering that camera, and then we're just gonna wait right over here, which, I mean, assumedly something would happen relatively soon, and well, that guard is presumably the one that's gonna be, well, the one that we're taking out relatively soon, which is why we're just gonna have your attention real quick. And then afterwards, once you get off the radio, we will very, very, very happily take you out, because that's kind of how all of this works, which is exactly what we're going to do, and hopefully that ragdoll isn't really out of the bush, which is absolutely perfect. So we're just going to go through here instead, and then we're just going to go through here, and well, obviously Cyber's going to be already in here, because that's clearly a good idea, so we're just going to get a key card that we should have gotten just now, but for some reason haven't gotten, but I suppose that's alright. We'll grab it yet again, and we'll go back through here, and you're not gonna matter at all, which, I mean, sure, we'll just check this room right over here, see what's in here, and then we're just gonna hack the cameras over here, which, right after that, we don't actually have to do this, but for now, we're just gonna do that because it's something that we can do, and it really, really doesn't matter if we do it or not, which is great. So we're just gonna read this clip over here. Presumably, Cyber's gonna find the other one, but then again, considering that Cyber has just snuck in here without, well, quite literally any credentials, hopefully things will not go well, because that's the computer, and that is a very, very brave choice, but I suppose if Cyber wants to stay over there, we're not gonna actually stop him, because it doesn't really matter, so we're just gonna go through here instead, and then check this room over here, which is completely empty so far, which is why I'm just gonna go through here and ignore all of the guards over there, because that's something that we should obviously be doing. And then we're just gonna go over here, check this over here, which has absolutely nothing of value. And then finally, we're just gonna go over here and see what's going on over here, which is still not a place I'm looking for. So, through all of this, hopefully, the clipboard's not gonna be right over here, because that will be quite frustrating. And so far it isn't, which is somehow even more frustrating. So we're just gonna look through here again, find the place the guard was standing earlier, which obviously we don't want to interfere with, and we're just going to read the clip over here. So I'm just going to search over there, and things should be perfectly, well, grand. So now that we're done with all of that, we're just going to find, well, first of all, the Auctioneer, by just going straight towards the Auctioneer, because that's very much a solution, even if it's not the solution. So we're just going to do this right over here, and then naturally we're just going to have you walk over here, which would clearly go well. So if you could just, once again, if the guard could just not be all too concerned about our presence over here, and we could have you turn around and, well, start focusing on what we're doing over here, that would be quite nice. Just saying. As slightly close as this is, it will indeed be quite nice. So if you could just, I mean, sure, we'll just have you go over here, we're going to interrogate you over here, and then we're just going to, listen, nothing's going on over here, I'm just talking towards the car, it's not of any concern. So we're just not going to auction it now, and well, obviously take note of Takedown Limit, because that's at least of some concern. And then we're just going to go over here and, well, subsequently try and find the last door, which should be right over here. It is upstairs, and it's right over there, which, if it isn't, will be really, really disappointing, because that's the other spot that it could possibly ever be in, which would make it not being here just, well, awfully poor memory, which isn't really all that great. But we're just gonna hack this over here, and then presumably Cyber's gonna do something right now, even if there really isn't anything to do, which I suppose it's fine. It's just that Cyber's probably gonna stay right in there and wait for the employee to maybe shop over there, which would be great and all, but if the employee could just go quite literally anywhere else, that would also be absolutely fantastic. So we're just gonna wait over here, see what happens, and then because you're gonna go over here, we're just gonna do the, well, very, very simple thing of bringing you in here, which, I mean, we will gladly do. And then once we're done with that, we're just gonna knock him out, because Cyber's not here to interrogate him, because, of course, that isn't the case, so we're just gonna knock him out over there, we're just gonna go through here, and unfortunately, Cyber's not getting a disguise from the employee, which is perfectly fine. So we're just gonna open this over here. Absolutely no one's gonna care, because that's, it's fine. And then we're just gonna go through here and then use the breaching charge over here, which might not be the most advisable with all of the guards about, but presumably no one's gonna actually care about that much, and then we could just go right over here and sure, we could commit to whatever Cyber's planning. But regardless, that's the daily challenge in just under 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Cheers everyone, have a great time.